Hey, thanks for clicking on my face. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and you're going to click subscribe because I'm an elusive individual, clearly, that you have just discovered. And if you let me go, you may never find me again. The algorithm will take me away. Anyway, this is a 40 for 40, which just means I turned 40 this year, and I'm talking about 40. I'm rewatching 40 films that I truly, truly love, that are sort of those films that I can watch over and over and over. And yeah, this is actually one of them. Sweet Home Alabama. Yep. It's on Hulu. Does not have audio description. And because, Hulu be Hulu. If a movie had audio description if a movie was released simultaneously on every streaming platform, Hulu would be the one that didn't have audio description. You know what I'm saying? Like, the filmmaker could literally be like, I gave the audio description track to every single streamer, and Hulu would be the one that would be like, nah, we didn't upload it. You gonna? No. All right then. So I can't wait until they're like integrated with Disney fully, so I can completely and totally bitch to them again and be like, "You're Disney now, bitches." Anyway, I love this film. I love Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know how many times I've seen it. Ridiculous, and even in chunks too. Like, I remember one time I needed just something to watch for like a few minutes. And I ended up putting on Sweet Home Alabama and watched it a little bit longer than I needed to. But I really only watched like 15 or 20 minutes of it. So I just wanted to not turn the TV off just yet. And I couldn't quite go to bed or something. I don't know. And it was on cable and I was like, oh, Sweet Home Alabama. And that was even after I couldn't see. I just dropped in somewhere in the middle of the film. Enjoyed it for a little while, and then was like, yeah, well, I'll be gone. See you later, Sweet Home Alabama. I know I'll watch you again. And lo and behold, I did. I saw it on Hulu. I was looking for a film to review off of Hulu. If I haven't reviewed something from a streaming service in a while, I usually try to peruse it and be like, what can I review here? Yeah, Hulu kind of felt like that for me. Last film, actually, I think I saw on Hulu was Popstar, which was also a 40 for 40 review. And so, yeah, it's I don't know, it's my favorite Reese Witherspoon film, I think. I said favorite, not necessarily best. I'm not trying to like grade her performances, but there's a difference between a film that is rewatchable over and over and you enjoy it, and a film that is like technically perfect. There are a lot of films that are technically perfect that I don't really want to ever see again. There are a lot of films that I have absolutely no desire to ever see them, but I can argue when people are like, when they talk about the film, they'll be like, have you seen blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, oh yeah, that was a fantastic film. I've only seen it once. It's all I really ever need to see that film, but yeah, you should see it. It's a great film. Meanwhile, I've seen Sweet Home Alabama 10, 12, 15 times. I don't know. Some ridiculous thing. It's also, interestingly, celebrating its 20th anniversary because it came out in 2003. So, this is, yeah. Okay, it's time. It's a Sweet Home Alabama year. So that's another reason I'm turning 40. This film's turning 20. This film is half my age. If we were in a Hollywood relationship, we would be making headlines. So, John Stark is dating Sweet Home Alabama. Anyway, yeah, so it's, I don't know, I just love the film. It is a film, though, that when I watch the film later on in life, I can kind of see things and I pick it apart. Like, there's kind of this thing in the film where nobody seems to know that she changed her name to Melanie Carmichael, but they know all about her. Like, they quote her from magazines. It's, Jake talks, they mentioned that Jake went up to New York to try to find her after she left, and like, no one seems to know that she changed her last name from Smooter. And it's just, And I don't understand how that works. Like, how do you follow somebody's career but you don't know what their last name is up there? It'd be like people who are like friends of Tom Cruise's from back in the day. And they're like, wait a minute. Your last name is Cruise? I had no idea. Like, what are you talking about? How are you following his career? How do you do that? Anyway, yeah, so it is a little bizarre that nobody knows that. I thought about that during this film. I'm on my, I don't know, 15th time through it, but it's also a film that's, I love. God, Josh Lucas is so sexy. Look at that voice. I don't even like him like attractively. I just there's a way he just comes in with the voice and I'm like, dude, I want your voice. I just want to sound like Josh Lucas. Like, girl I knew was fearless. I was like, damn. He makes everything sound so good. It doesn't even matter what the line is. It's just such a good line. And you know, Reese's comic timing in this is phenomenal. The supporting cast here is great. A lot of names that stand out. Of course, rest in peace, Fred Ward, for the little bit of time that he's in the film. But he's great playing Reese's dad. Also, Candice Bergen obviously is in this, and she's hilarious in sort of a kind of a villainy role. You've got Jean Smart. She's in between. This is Jean Smart in the doldrums. This is post Designing Women and pre Jean Smart Renaissance. So this is her just playing like a bartender in the background. So it's nice to see her there. There's also Melanie Linsky is in this. So shout out to Melanie Linsky. And of course, Ethan Embry is delightful in this film. Actually, he's probably one of the biggest reasons why you miss so much with audio description. I love Ethan Embry. He has such expressive eyes, and he has these big eyes. And I don't really conceptually understand what happened to his career. I always kind of thought Ethan would be fine. I thought he was going places when I saw him in the 90s, and then he kind of was doing stuff in the early 2000s, and now I have no idea what he does. So, just no idea. But he used to have this way of just looking at you. It was just, he had these gigantic eyes, and he uses them so well in so many silent scenes when he just reacts to something, like when they're in the bar scene playing pool, and Melanie starts talking about him. The eyes say everything. He doesn't need lines. He just needs eyes. There's later on, after he and Melanie have kind of made up, and the reporter is there in the house, he kind of is like looking at her, trying to suss out the situation, and you can tell through his eyes and facial expressions just exactly what he's thinking and what's going on. It's so expressive. He's so damn expressive. It's such a shame because all you get is the dialogue read out. But the last thing I would point out is the funny moment when Josh Lucas steps up to the door with Patrick Dempsey, and and he's like, hello. There's like a way that he looks at Jake, and there's a way that he looks at this man that he doesn't technically know who he is yet, and he's like, oh, hello, you. What's up? Tall drink of water. You know, but you wouldn't really get that out of his face. That he makes a complete like facial expression change, and those are things that we miss when we don't have audio description. I don't really know how much of that they'd put in the audio description, but you know, if I was like managing the team that was doing the audio description, I'd be like, make sure you talk about Ethan Embry's eyes a lot. Let's focus on them. They're very good. He has very expressive eyes. The other thing is, I would be really interested to know in the audio description how they describe what it is that they make from the sand. this stuff that they start off the beginning of the film with, you know, little versions of Jake and Melanie, and then the lightning hits the sand, and there's this little design or whatever, and then Jake makes his entire life based on that. So, yeah, I would be really interested to know what those are described like. Like, how do you describe the whole thing when Melanie eventually finds his I don't know, art gallery? I don't know what to call it. Store feels very simple, because he sort of has turned into this person who's selling these fancy things. So anyway, yeah, it kind of just, I don't know. I don't know what you would, because they're all unique. So, there's that too. Yeah. I mean, you know, the dog jumping in the water and being underwater for way too long is a great gag. Pick One was a great moment in the film. I don't know if that really reads without audio description when Andrew proposes up at the top of the film and he just says, pick one. And just that moment, I remember watching it, and she kind of walks in. She doesn't really know where she is, and the lights are kind of off, and Andrew's there to surprise her, and then, like, the lights come on, and she's, like, alone in a jewelry store. And it's just like, pick one, whichever one you want, you know? Also the reveal when his mom later on sees the ring. So, yeah. There were multiple times in the film where I was thinking, damn, audio description would have helped that. Damn audio. But I know those things that are there because I've seen this film so many damn times. So, you know, I could talk about it being easily one of my favorite romantic comedies of all time, but I just don't know how that translates. I don't know that it does. You know, I mean, there's a war reenactment in this film. It's a lot more complicated than what you would give it credit for. So, I would really love to see this film with audio description. I think it did enough at the box office to warrant it. Reese Witherspoon is still a major star. Arguably so are Patrick Dempsey and Josh Lucas to at least some degree, and then Gene Smart has had this resurgence. So there are a lot of reasons here to do this. This has always been a movie that I would love to see made into a stage musical. When people ask me that question, like, which one do you think? I always answer Sweet Home Alabama. I'm just like, I don't know how it hasn't happened. If I could do it, I would team up and write the book along with some country artist that really wants to write, you know, a musical and make a really country themed show, because there really aren't a lot of country musicals with strong country roots to them. And if you team up with somebody who could actually write you know, music and lyrics that were strongly rooted in country, I think that would be pretty cool. So, but anyway, there isn't one. But this film does exist. If you get an opportunity to watch it with audio description, please do. If you don't, that's fine. I just wanted to talk about a film that I love so that you guys can understand my influences and where I come from, and a little bit more of me. That's kind of what 40 for 40 does. It's me letting down my guard and admitting that I love films like Kindergarten Cop, Heavyweights, and Sweet Home Alabama. You know, along with appropriate films like The Departed and The Dark Knight and stuff like that. So it's yeah, it's a grab bag, but I like things across all genres. So just like every other 40 for 40, this is like transcended. It's a desert island film for me. So of course, Sweet Home Alabama gets an A+. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Threads at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org, where you can find out what films have audio description, where you can watch them. And you can also go to theadna.org. That's the adna.org, to let you know who's narrating your favorite film's television series. That's it for me today. I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.